Hi, Gazzy, how we doing?
Not too bad, but you okay?
Yeah, all good, thank you. How would you sort of sum up your Premier League campaign so far? A couple of nights left and already through to the playoffs.
Yeah, I think I had a decent start. I sort of slipped up towards the middle, put myself under a little bit of pressure, but yeah, lucky enough to finish it off with 2 weeks of space. So yeah, happy days.
Has this year felt any different to the previous years you've been in the Premier League?
Yeah, I just felt like I've enjoyed it a bit more. I've been a lot more positive and going about my game and the way I approach stuff a little bit different. And yeah, everything's been a bit more positive.
Have you noticed that difference not just on the stage in the Premier League, but back home as well when you've been on the practice board? That refreshing attitude has made a real difference for you.
To be honest with you, I haven't really practiced at home. That's probably my only downfall, is because obviously the schedule is quite busy, and I've been off this week. I've had a little throw, but probably not as much as I should. But then I'm not under much pressure this week. I'm going to go up there, enjoy it like I have every other week, and next week as well. And over the next 2 weeks, I will put the hours in, ready for the O2. So yeah, it's been nice to chill out for the last couple of days.
You sort of allude to it there, but how do you approach these next 2 weeks in Aberdeen and Sheffield, as there's not really anything on it, only sort of jockeying for position in those top four spots?
Yeah, but that doesn't really matter, if I'm fourth, third, second, doesn't really matter. It's for me, the vital thing was just to get to the O2, and whoever you play, it doesn't really matter. You're gonna have to play really well to win the tournament. But yeah, without that, it's £10,000 up for grabs as well, and probably gives me the opportunity maybe to try out a new set of darts.
Just something I want to touch on. It seems to be up there. Everybody seems to be friends. There seems to be a lot of sort of laughing and joking on stage. It seems to be that's changed quite a lot over the last 18 months, couple of years. Is that something you've noticed in and around the practice room and on stage as well?
Yeah, but the majority of the players on the stage have all got managers and all got the same managers and all in a team and travel together, and yeah, they're all good friends and pals, and it rubs off on stage. But I'm sure when it gets to the nitty gritty, when the big tournaments come around and you're in quarters, semis, finals, there'll be no friends on stage.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Kazi.
No worries, cheers, what?
Hi, Gezi. You alluded to possibly changing darts tomorrow there. What's the reasoning behind that, and what are you looking to change?
Well, obviously for me is the free night really, and something where I can test out maybe a new setup, just a new barrel, completely different dart. And I've tried in the past in the house, but never really took the plunge and tried it on stage. So I might not do it tomorrow. I'll take the darts with me. I'll have a throw in the practice room. If they don't feel right, I won't use them. But I might use them.
This time last year, you had to pull out of the night in Aberdeen with injury. Fast forward 12 months, and you're in the playoffs with 2 nights to spare. I mean, how proud are you of the way you've approached the Premier League this season, and what do you put that turnaround down to?
Yeah, obviously I'm proud of myself from just coming back from being under a little bit of pressure and not playing so well. But it's just been my mindset, being more positive and thinking, not being so negative while I'm away and when I'm playing, because it is tough, trying to balance everything while the Premier League's on. But yeah, I think I've controlled myself a lot better this year compared to any other year, really.
I think one thing that's been noticeable as well is the support you've had throughout the event. I mean, how much of a boost has that been? And again, what do you put that change in reception down to this year?
I don't know, maybe there's one or two characters in there now that, yeah, the fans probably don't favour. So then they look to go somewhere else. And yeah, if they want to cheer me on and help me get over the winning line sometimes, then I'm happy with that. But yeah, I think there's a couple of characters in the Premier League that some venues don't really like as well.
And there's been some debate and discussion again over the last week about the Premier League format. You've played in this format for all 4 years. What's your take on it? And would you like to see the knockout format stay going forward, or would you prefer to see a possible change next season?
I think you could probably just, everyone knows my feelings on this format, but I'm not going to comment on that anymore because it just, that's the sort of thing that I've been speaking about before and gets me back on a negative feeling. But I'll just turn up, play whichever the format is. But it would be nice to see it go back to the old format with 10 players, and then maybe after the 9 weeks drops down to 8 players and goes into this new format. But that's the PDC to decide. But for me as a player now, I'm just going to concentrate on my game, concentrate on the way I play, and just let everybody else deal with the rest.
Cheers, guys. Thank you.
No worries.
Hi, Gezi. You okay?
Hiya.
Obviously you're secure going to the O2, but there's quite a few players still fighting for that final spot. But you're in the unique position where you're playing one of them in your quarterfinal who isn't. Who do you think will be joining you at the O2 in a couple of weeks' time?
I think Rob Cross needs to win tomorrow night if he's got any chance at all. If he don't, I think he's probably out of the equation then. But yeah, it's a big game between Nathan and Michael. I'm glad I'm not in that situation. But at the minute, I think Nathan's probably got a little bit more determination and a little bit more fight. And, he's a dogged player who will grind out results, no matter if he's 5-1 behind or 5-0 behind. I think he'll still be fighting right till the end. And if I had to put my cards on the table, I'd probably say Nathan, but you could never write Michael off.
It's funny, isn't it? Because this format and Michael has dominated the Premier League for so long. Does it show kind of the change in face of darts that he isn't absolutely secure to be there on finals night?
Was that Michael?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think he missed out on final nights once before, so he knows that feeling, and I think he'll probably be on the board trying, not to be back in that situation again. But like I said, you can never write Michael off. He's a great player. We've all seen what he can do in the past, but is that gone now? We don't know.
And just quickly changing tack, this week was the Lions announcement. Did you follow that? Do you follow the Lions, or are you more just Welsh rugby?
No, it was nice to see at least 2 Welsh boys get in, but yeah, I sort of thought that Jack would get in. I didn't know out of the rest of the boys who would get in, but yeah, it's nice to see Jack Morgan get a call up, and I like the British and Irish Lions, but not so much this year.
Thanks, Gizzy.
No worries.
Harry?
Firstly, congratulations on qualifying for the playoffs. Is it about continuing your form now the pressure's slightly off a little bit?
Yeah, but there is no pressure this week. I know my form's there. I haven't practiced a lot this week, so I'm just going to be rolling in, maybe trying a new set of darts and a new setup just to see how they go. Like I said, there's no pressure on me. It really means nothing, but I'm not someone who just wants to go on stage and lose. I hate losing, and I'll give 110% while I'm up there. But yeah, the pressure's off, which is nice.
As mentioned prior by someone else, that spoke about the fans maybe getting on your back in previous years, and that's kind of slackened off a little bit this year. Do you think that might help you into the playoffs? With obviously the 2 Lukes who are going in as favourites at the moment.
Yeah, I don't think it really matters. It's all on the night, and if you play well, you can win. The crowd have been brilliant with me this year, over the last 24 months, really. But yeah, everywhere I go, especially in the Premier League, it's been some great support.
Yeah. Do you think that makes a massive difference? But the crowd are behind you during these sort of tournaments recently, or
I think it's a big difference for everyone. When you get support and you can hear them cheering your name and everyone's behind you, it can certainly help.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you, Gerwyn.
No worries.
Thanks, guys. Phil Lanning's lost his voice. I'm just chucking one in around Stephen Bunting for him because he's suffering with the flu. But Stephen obviously has had a amazing turnaround in his career in the last couple of years. How impressed have you been with how he's managed to get himself back up to the top?
Yeah, because it is difficult. When you drop off a little bit, and for the likes of Stephen, who I think he was having talks about whether he was going to finish and pack up darts, but for him to bounce back, and not just on the board but off the board, as you see with his social media and the Bunting mental fan base that he gets now and all his merchandise, and yeah, so it's not just everything on the board, but off the board he seems to be bounced back really well.